So I just turned on the little call recorder. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, great. So, so let's see. Okay, so the introduction will be like what I've said the introduction several times, so you get it at this point. Hey, I'm Emily. For a while, I've been fascinated. Yada yada yada. Here's my research on such and such, and then it'll end with let's see. You had been talking about things for a while. You might wrap up with, the biggest thing for me that I really liked about Mystery Method was how passionate he is about, you know, relationships, and that's really cool to see somebody who cares so much. I don't know, like whatever. I'm just kind of picking something that you might say. I'm not trying to put words in your mouth. Okay. Um, but then you pause, um, and you wouldn't say so. Thanks for listening. You wouldn't say that at all. Okay. But what you say, and this is directly from what David wrote in the second of three emails that I sent to you. It was great for me, and then you pause, and then you say, my favorite source for learning about making friends and allies is Professor Jonathan Green and his allyexplosion.com website. To get to know him, and for more of our videos, come on over with me to allyexplosion.com right now.
Okay, that sounds super good.
Okay, great. So that's how the videos will wrap up. Um, the the articles will wrap up somewhat the same way in the sense that um, they'll be like for more, you know, John, my favorite, source. Like we just talked about mystery method in this article. We just talked about how to win friends and influence people in this article. Whatever, friendships, social circles, business, whatever. Okay. And my favorite source for information on this is Professor Jonathan Green and his allyexplosion.com website that you're on right now. To get more, download our app below, or click below to, whatever the call to action is going to be. For now it's going to be enter your name and email address in the form below, or it's going to be, please take a look at the Ally Explosion home study course. It's so terrific. It changed my life. I know it can change yours. Something like along the lines of that. You really saw that with John Pemberthy. The main thing from him, he's so sincere. And then you saw him really making that great turn. And what I'm calling the turn is going from kind of pacing the person, walking with that person, to then making the turn to lead them where he wants them to go to buy a product.
Okay, I gotcha.
So here's the point where the turn happens. I'm gonna read this for you again. So it was really great for me reading about Mystery Method. The main reason why is he's so detailed. I mean, he is so passionate. You can really tell he has everything mapped out. My favorite source, though, for learning and making friends and allies is Professor Jonathan Green and his Ally Explosion website. To get to know him and for more of my videos, come with me over to allyexplosion.com right now. So did you emotionally feel the turn?
Yeah, definitely. That was really emphatic. It was really good.
Okay, great. Um, so at the end, the idea with persuasion at the end of the day is always going to be the same thing: pacing and then leading. Okay, pacing means to walk with. So it's like you and I are walking, we're holding hands, we're having a nice time. If I turn and just go into a restaurant, like you won't even stop and be like, wait a second, am I hungry? Right? Like you eventually you'll think about it, but it won't be like at the forefront of your mind. Right? Like you'll almost assume that you're hungry and it's time to eat before you really even think about it, because we're just walking along already.
I totally understand what you're saying.
Because they're in rapport with you, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great. So it's the same thing. Like let's say you're with your friends, and you're at like one club, and then you guys are dancing, you're having fun, and you get a text message and says, oh my gosh, like you're in Miami, and you get a text message and it's like, oh, you get one of your friends is over at Mansion, and they're like, OMG, Pretty Lights just showed up. Get your ass over here, right? And so you like look at your friends and you're like, oh my God, Pretty Lights is over at Mansion. Let's get our ass over there. Right? Then no one's gonna be like, no, I like it here.
Yeah.
Like, let me stop and think about it, right? Now, it might be a little different if one of your friends is like making out with a guy who she's just like really into, right? But then you might be like, bring him, right? Is that all sort of like psychologically it all makes sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool. All right, so that really takes care of the framing and the turn, the framing and the call to action. So the introduction and the exit, right? We really have the introduction and the exit down now. Uh,
Yeah, I totally understand now.
and
Makes really, really awesome sense.
yeah, now that we're recording, I'm gonna deliver the introduction to you just one last time. Of course, I can't sound as nice as you doing it, but I'll do my best. Hey, I'm Emily. For a while now, I've been fascinated with psychology and philosophy of making friends, social circles, business networking, dating, and even seduction. This video shares my research and experience with how to win friends and influence people. Let's get started.
That's good. I like the let's get started. It's good.
Okay, great. All right. I sort of interjected that, but I think it's fine. It's good. Transitions. By the way, for my I'm a pretty good writer. David's a great writer too. For writing, especially emails, stuff that's conversational videos, a lot of what it boils down to is like if I imagine that you and I are just kind of sitting in a coffee shop right now, just chilling at like let's say we're at a cafe, right? Like like a block away from my house. There's all these from my condo. There's all these like little outdoor cafes and stuff like that. So if we imagine we were like sitting outside and it's the spring and it's warm and the sun shines in your hair and we're just happy and and, uh, and everything like that, then if we're having a conversation, then I might be like, yeah, here's the scoop. I was crazy. I was, going down the street and whatever. This gigantic dog walked out, and I mean gigantic. The dog was, I kid you not, as tall as me at the shoulder. Look, I've got it on my phone. Let me show you a picture. And I show you the picture. And then I say, so I talked to the dog owner, and they had the craziest story. Let me explain. They had just gone to the veterinarian, and the veterinarian walks out with 5 of these gigantic dogs. Here's the story. It turns out that this teeny tiny dog that's a Jack Russell Terrier had 5 puppies, and they grew and grew and grew and grew, and nobody knows who the father is. Okay, so when I'm telling that story, obviously that's just a completely bizarre, made-up story. But what I was doing like there are various waypoints in the conversation where I'd be like, here's the scoop. Let me explain. Here's the story. Let me show you a picture. Okay, so those are transitions. Let's get started is a transition.
Okay, I gotcha.
It just kind of keeps things moving from thing to thing to thing. It's really nice for writing because while we'll put your picture there and a video of you there, it'll be easier for you to keep people hooked if you use things like, I mean, almost every email I send out says, here's the scoop, here's the rundown, let me explain, here's the story, here's a picture, check this out.
Yeah, those are all really good to keep people reading.
Yeah, and when I was describing us being at the cafe, we're like, it's a spring, you're relaxed, the sun's on you, like, but you're probably there with me, right? Like, you could almost see me like pull out my iPhone and show you the picture, right?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay, cool.